Hello, hello. Welcome to the Crypto Gains Club. This is your boy Anon. Um, and today we're going to be talking about the PH ecosystem on Pulse Chain. This is a really, really exciting ecosystem. If you guys aren't familiar, familiarize yourself. Hurry up. You're missing out. Uh, you haven't missed out much because it's only like a week and a half old or something like that. So it's fairly new, but dude, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. Um, and that's why I'm doing this because I don't see anyone else doing it, and I hope other people will do it so that I don't have to do it. But until someone else does it, I'll be doing it, right? So, uh, just a really quick overview. PH ecosystem is a set of three protocols on the Pulse Chain network. They consist of Fame.io, which you're looking at, spelled Phame. Then there's Fiat, .io, which is PHIAT, right? Fiat, like the fiat currency. It's a funny play on words. I like it. And then lastly, we have PHUX, which you can spell that out for yourself. Um, no, or imagine how that sounds in your head. I'm not going to say it here, but yeah, it's a really cool three protocols that we have. There's a lot of excitement going on, and I'm just here to kind of just spread the news, spread the awareness, talk about some numbers, and that's it. This isn't financial advice. I'm just here to share what I see, and if you happen to see some opportunity, then great for you. That'd be awesome. But otherwise, if you just want to be a part of the community, hop into Telegrams. There's lots going on. Twitter's is really starting to ramp up, and people are getting a lot of awareness. People that haven't paid attention to crypto in a long time are now, starting to wake up to all the possibilities that you have on Pulse Chain, and a lot of those possibilities have been brought to you by the PH ecosystem. Um, the founder Buck and his team, they've done a great job, and I'm very happy with the products that they've built. They work really well, and they continue to just get better. And I think they're great just as they are. But every once in a while, you'll see a little update here and there. And you're like, oh, hey, oh, what's that? That's kind of cool feature, whatever. So basically, I'm just here to kind of keep everybody up to date, look at the numbers, see how the markets are changing, and then you can make decisions on your own. With all that said, let's just jump right into it. I don't want to talk too much about housekeeping stuff. I just want to get to the nitty gritty. So the one you're looking at right now, this is called Fame.io, and this is a leverage trading platform. So leverage trading, if you're not familiar, I'll give you a really good analogy here in a second. If you are familiar with leverage trading, I'm sure you've heard that it's very dangerous, and it absolutely is. But it can also be a very good asset, a very good tool that you can use for yourself um, as a way to mitigate risk. And I am telling you right now, I am not a professional. I've done two leverage trades, and they were only within this past week. Okay. They happen to be in like tiny little profits. I got like a little 5% profit, and I closed out the position. I was happy, right? I am by no means an expert. I am by no means the guy that has all the answers. I'm just a guy that really likes what's happening, and I want to talk about it, and I want to learn along the way. And I'm open to some constructive criticism. If you guys have some things you want to share with me, you can message me, leave a comment, whatever. You know what to do. Let's figure this stuff out together, and hopefully, I give you some value. Um, yeah, because I just like this stuff. So, um, now the analogy. So, if you're not familiar with leverage trading, there's a very simple, obvious, everyday example that everybody's familiar with, which is buying a house. When you buy a house, you don't have all the money. Usually, most people don't have all the money up front, right? And the way the housing prices are these days, nobody really has that money just laying around, right? So you have to put down a deposit, and in exchange for that deposit, the bank will, if you're good person in terms of credit score, they'll give you a certain amount of money to be able to put towards a house. Now that's called leverage, right? You have a little bit. The bank says, "Hey, we'll give you more," and they give you that money, and then you're able to use the money to buy a house, right? Buy an asset. It's it's the same thing here on leverage trading, in the sense that um, you put up some money. That you don't have all of it that you want to trade, but you put up some money and the protocol. So now, whereas in the real world, you have a bank, you have intermediaries, you have middlemen, people that can tell you yes or no. In crypto, this is DeFi. This is true DeFi. There are no middlemen to tell you that you can't take a leverage trade. Everything is 100% your responsibility. Okay. So if you enter into an agreement, the smart contract will hold you to that agreement and it will automatically execute if you are going to get liquidated. So keep that in mind. But it's a good analogy in the sense that when you buy a house, you have some opening costs and some closing costs, right? And while your position is open, right? While you have your mortgage, your position, right? While you have that open, you pay monthly towards it. And in the same sense, you have like an hourly fee. So I'll show you right over here. Um, the borrow fee, right? This, I guess you can use as an analogy to your mortgage because this is a percent per hour, whereas your mortgage is um, uh, your monthly mortgage, right? Um, so that's your borrow fee. But then you also have fees to open the position, right? Because people are providing you liquidity to be able to do to make these moves, and so you have liquidity providers, and to incentivize them to provide liquidity, they get paid in fees that you as the person opening a position will have to pay, and also a closing fee as well. So that's really it, though. And some cool little tips and tricks I'm going to show you right now. You probably want to check this off where it says chart position. So when you open a trade, it's going to show a line much like this horizontal dotted line that you see, and it'll tell you where you opened it, and then this much thinner line that you see above, right up here, that would be, let's say, the market price. And if this was a long position, that you had started, way down here, you'd be in profit. You'd be really happy, right? But then if it was reversed, whereas let's say you had a short position from that you set up down here thinking the price was going to go lower, you would be in the negative. And so that's the crux of it. That's the rundown, right? So um, let's see. So you can do a long or short. You have these two options over here, and then you can select how much leverage you want to apply, and it will show you the leverage here. So let's see. Let's say we were going to short, right? And we would put up. I don't have anything in this wallet. Let's say $1,000. That's a lot. Let's do $200, right? Because I'm brand new. I would do something small, very small, something that I could afford to lose, just to try these things out, right? And maybe 100 or 200 is too much for you. As you can do whatever you're comfortable with. But when you're over here, you can use this slider if you want, right? It's really addictive. But you can see down here, this is going to give me 15x leverage. So if I put in $200, that is $200 worth. That is as if I actually was using $2,800 to make this trade. Now, if I lose, I'm going to lose that $200. But if I win the uh, the profit is mine. So what it helps you do is it helps um, magnify your profits, right? So if you have a bigger leverage position, you're obviously not going to walk home with the the money that wasn't yours, but whatever you make on profit on top, that is yours to keep. So um, that's really cool. So while you're dragging this sliding bar, right, while you drag that lever up and down, you will see that your entry position and liquidation price change. So you can start to kind of imagine, like, okay, if I place a short position here and I would get liquidated at this price, you can kind of come back to the chart and say, what is the likelihood that I think that this price will move this much in this direction, right? Um, that's something to think about, right? Oh, another thing that I just thought of, which you're probably going to want to do. So come up to the top right, and this is my wallet wallet address. When you click on it, it has a drop down. Go to settings, and you're probably just going to want to select both of these uh, because it displays your profit loss P&L, profit loss after fees. So this way, your opening fee and your closing fee will be factored in. So soon as you open a short or a long, you're already in the negative because you had to pay those fees. And so by selecting this, it'll just show you that you're in the negative already, and then it'll show you when once you're in the positive after the fees. So or once if you go more negative, well, God bless. um, but include your profit loss in the leverage display. Yep. So um, yeah, you're gonna want to save that, and we can get into more details later. But those are two things that I think you're probably just gonna want to turn on right now. And yeah, anyway, so you can start to kind of think like, okay, how much leverage do I need? What is the probability I think that this price target will be hit versus this price target? And then you adjust your risk accordingly. And again, probably the safe side is, stick to something small. When you don't know what you're doing, just something small is much, much safer. Okay. Let's see, 11:30. Huh. I've only hit one of these. Okay. So the other cool thing about Fame is that you can earn. So one thing you can do is you could leverage trade, but the only way you're able to leverage trade is if you or not you, if there is liquidity for you to be able to do so. And so now there are incentives for you to provide liquidity, right? So uh, there's two things. One, there's a Fame token, which can also earn you platform fees, right? So this is right here. It says Fame is a staking token, accrues 40% of the platform's fees generated. Uh, platforms generated fees. Um, And then you have PHLP, which is it's a liquidity token. But this liquidity token is, despite whatever you're going to deposit into the liquidity pool, everybody gets the PHLP. That is just the one token um, for your position that you deposited. So um, you can deposit any one of these tokens down here, and I'll show you. So let's say you wanted to provide liquidity. We'll come over here, and there are some fees associated with providing liquidity. So let's say I wanted to deposit some wrapped DAI. Let's say I wanted to deposit $1,000. Um, as soon as you type in a number, you're going to see these fees populate, and they are dynamic. They change all the time. So if you let's just say the weighted. Let's see. Let's go back a second. Um, okay. So there's weights and targets, right? So based on these weights and targets, you will have your fees fluctuate. So if you have uh, too much in any one token that has surpassed the target, then the fees will be higher for that one, versus a token that has not enough. So really quickly, let's go back to, how do we get there? Okay, so if we wanted to deposit 1,000, you can see the best. Um, yeah, the lowest fee is actually wrapped Bitcoin in this case. So it's in your best incentive to provide wrapped Bitcoin, but maybe you just don't value that, so you might not want to do it. I don't know. It's totally up to you. You can go back and look at what the weight and the targets are, and see if that's something, or if people are even using that, if the volume's there. You can consider all those things. But if you have some stables, for example, you can see that even between the stables, there's a different price, or a different fee. Sorry. So, it'd be in your best interest to deposit wrapped tethers rather than wrapped DAI, for example, right? So play around with that. But once you have the token, you don't have to stake it. You will automatically start earning fees. So that's really cool. But not only that, they added this really recently. So you can also, PHUX tokens are a bonus being provided by the PH team to stakers. So if you staked your tokens, you're getting your PHLP rewards, but you're also earning PHUX now. So that is really cool that they did that. This is very recent. And so you see a lot of these kind of things where there's an opportunity to earn money. And now I've been talking a lot about earning money, but how much can you possibly really earn right now? Well, the staking APR is 9.81%. So if you like APR and you think that's a good number, well, you have an option. You have the chance to earn some. And let's see, where do they have more? Come down. Like total fees generated. Where does it say that? Supply nav stats? No, that takes you to something more advanced. We'll have to get into at another date. Man, I'm already at 16 minutes now. Oh, right here. Okay. So the overall pool, so all the tokens combined, this is the amount, this is the value of all the tokens in the pool. And so you can see just below that, long positions and short positions. So a lot more people are by a large margin. They are much more long than they are short. So I don't know, maybe there's some opportunity there, maybe not. Who knows? Volume, wow. Total volume, almost 21 million. That's insane for a protocol that just launched like a week and a half ago. Are you kidding me? Dude, total fees, 100 grand has been generated. Like, this is, dude, if you don't see this and you don't think this is exciting, there's nothing I can really, like, in 24 hours, there was almost 11 grand generated in fees. Like, dude, it's insane. It's insane. Okay. So really exciting. What else? I feel like there's so much I want to tell you, and I feel like I can't hit it all. I was trying to keep this video short, but I haven't even gotten past Fame yet. So okay, maybe I'm going to hold off on this, and I'll jump to the other protocols that we have. But there's a lot more stuff. Like I can get into the stats. I can tell you more about the PHLP, how it works. I can tell you about staking Fame. Fame has a price. I can show you the price. Like there's so much in this that you can dive into, and this is why I'm excited about it. So hopefully, as the days goes on, days go on. Ah, God, I can't speak English. As the days go on, we'll be able to dig into those things. So another protocol they have is called Fiat, which is really funny. I love the name. Mouth is getting dry. So Fiat is a lending protocol. You are able to, let's say, you wanted to deposit PLS into this protocol, and when you deposit the PLS, you still have control over that PLS. It's still yours, right? But now that you deposit PLS, you can, let's say, borrow another asset in exchange, such as, let's say, a stable coin. You got three options right here. You got DAI, USDC, and Tether, USDT. So, and you can borrow other tokens as well. You borrow Hex, PulseX, whatever, right? But this way, you can, without having to sell your asset, you can also utilize another asset. And there's lots of things you can do with this. But on the bare bones, you earn a deposit APY, but then if you borrow an asset, you have to pay to borrow that asset. And so It is not like you just deposit something in here, that's yours, but then you can also get something else and that's also yours. No, you technically are taking out a loan, right? But this is a DeFi loan. There is no person, no middleman to tell you that you can or can't take this loan out. Like the agreement is between you and the code, right? You and the programming, which has been audited. It's been working phenomenally. There are no issues. And it's a great program. It's a great protocol. Um, but anyway, so you are held accountable through the code, right? Because the code is a law. But there's nobody that tells you that you can't do it. So really cool thing about this is anybody can get a loan, but you are held accountable by the protocol. So if you, let's say you deposited PLS and you borrowed Hex, and you took the Hex and you did something stupid with it, and maybe you lost half the value or something that you had borrowed. So now you can't pay back the loan, and maybe PLS's price is appreciating, and now you're kind of there's a health factor involved into all of this. Well, I don't have anything deposited, so I guess I can't show you that. Yeah, no, I can't show you the health factor. Okay, well, there is a health factor associated with how much you put up for collateral and how much you borrow. So let's say you put up $1,000 as collateral, but you're only borrowing. I'll make an extreme example, like $10. Your health factor is phenomenal. You don't really have to worry about getting liquidated, or having your position squeezed out of your account, right? That's not going to happen because the price would have to move at such a phenomenal percentage. Like, I don't even know the math on this, but like it's probably like 99.99%, right? That it would have to move for you to lose all that money. And then just the likelihood of that happening. I mean, you can assess your own risk, but it's probably safe. It's probably 99% safe to say that won't happen in that given scenario. But of course, nobody's actually going to do that. They're probably going to have a more severe health factor, right? And you can look at it. It tells you what's kind of safe, what's definitely not safe, and it will stop you from from using 100%. So that's also not possible either. So this is really cool. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this. So something that people are doing is, in order to provide PHLP on Fame, what they're doing is, let's say they have Pulse or PulseX, they put these tokens up for collateral, and then they borrow DAI, USDC, and USDT, right? Because if you see right now, right, like let's look at these numbers real quick. The borrow APY on Pulse PLS is 4.17. PLSX 4.76. That's kind of close, right? And then you have Hex, it's 6.64. It's still within some reasonable amount, but you look right below that and DAI, USDC, USDT, it's 34. Wait, what? USDC dropped a lot. Okay, well, that's freaking phenomenal. Let's see. Total borrowed. Okay, well, you can see the market size and total borrowed for DAI is a lot closer to the market size versus USDC. I think there's a lot more cushion there now, so the APY has dropped. But I think I was looking at this yesterday, and all of these were like in the 20s and 30s, meaning people were borrowing these assets more and more, and that made the APY go up higher and higher. And that incentivized people to deposit more to earn APY themselves. So like if you look at DAI and USDT, for example, you can earn 13% APY on DAI, or you can earn 8.59% on USDT for depositing it. Now, this changes every day because, as you can tell, if people are just suddenly decide to borrow a lot less, then the APY is going to drop. But that's why I'm making these videos, so that people can kind of pick up on these things. And if they feel like they want to participate, or they have some other play they want to do, they can come up with those ideas for themselves. So that's what it seems like people are doing, is that they're borrowing DAI in USDC and USDT, and they're taking it over to Fame, and then they're staking that for their PHLP. So because they also value getting the rewards from people leverage trading, because on a long enough time frame, you're the people that the house usually wins, right? That's basically what this is the house usually wins. But on a shorter time frame, some days the leverage traders are going to be in profit, and that means the LP providers, they're going to take a hit. And so that's what makes the market. There's risk involved. Okay, so if you understand that risk, um, you can make better decisions. But yeah, so I mean, like I showed you, the volume up here, almost $20.8 million in volume in like 2 weeks or something. I have to really look up when the date that this launched, but it's a relatively very short period of time. Okay, and just in the last 24 hours, you got $10.8 thousand worth of fees generated. So that's why people are wanting to come over. They're taking, they're borrowing, and they're making moves, man. So all right. So there's more I can talk about with fiat as well, but to try to keep this short, we're at 26 minutes now. I will touch on the last protocol that we have. Well, they also have Phatty, PHATTY.io, which is like it's like a wallet tracker, but on steroids. It's got a bunch of other features built into it. So that's really cool. That we'll have to save for a different day. But yeah, so getting into PHUX, this is a DEX, and this DEX is really cool. It's a fork of Balancer, and by the way, Fiat is a fork of Aave if you're interested in figuring out where that came from. So PHUX is a fork of Balancer, and what this protocol allows you to do is, as you can tell, there's these pools that we have, right? So if you're at the top up here, you see pool, swap, claim. When you go to swap, it looks like any other DEX. You could swap one token for another, right? But when you go over to pools, you'll see that there's all these different pools that we have. And it's not just 2 tokens in this pool. You can have, well, you could probably have more than 5, but I think 5 is probably the maximum that you want to go to. But you can create your own pools, right? You can create, like, nobody's stopping you from creating a pool. You can create your own pool. You can put whatever tokens you want in there. So this is really cool for anybody trying to bootstrap liquidity for their new project, their new token, their new meme, their new whatever they have. This is the place that you want to go, because you can create your own pools, you can tie the liquidity, and you can do all types of unique things that can incentivize people to, engage with your tokens or engage with your pool to try to earn an APR. And as you can see, the APRs are pretty freaking juicy, man. Look at this stuff. These are some crazy numbers, dude. Okay. So this just all makes me so excited, because there's so much opportunity here. And whatever it is that you value, there's a place for you on PHUX. So yeah, I mean, okay, I'll try to give you some examples and just show you what's going on. PHUX is also a token, so it's the native token to the PHUX exchange, right? So you can stake your PHUX with PLS, and when you stake it, and you lock it up. So when you stake it, you get Prime PHUX. And with Prime PHUX, you can do some cool things, which you can put Prime PHUX in another pool in itself, which is actually just a representation of the underlying assets, which is PHUX and wrapped PLS, right? So that's, pretty unique, pretty freaking cool. Lots of things that you can imagine with that. But what you could also do with your Prime Fux is um, you can lock it up. You can lock up your LP tokens, right? And when you lock it up, you are given VPHUX. And what that lets you do is it lets you vote. So this is really cool. So if you go back to pools, sorry, I guess it would show. Oh, okay. Once you lock your Prime Fux, you would go over to this VPHUX tab right up here at the top, and let's say you already have your VFux. You can come over here and you can vote on which pool you want to have incentivized, which pool that you find value in, and it's probably going to be the pools that you're already providing liquidity, because then you have a chance to get higher APR for doing so. So this is like, it's a very good positive feedback loop, right? It kind of it gives you a reason to not just automatically sell down your PHUX, which on other dexes that happens a lot, right? There isn't another use case for those uh, exchange tokens, and so they just kind of, or sorry, the yield tokens, and they just get sold down. So sometimes the exchange tokens get sold down too. That's a sore spot for some people. So we're not going to get into that. That's not what we're about here. So anyway, you can earn really, really good APR. And what you earn this APR in is in the PHUX token itself, right? So again, you see how all these things are kind of feeding back into each other. That's what makes this really unique. And so you can see a lot of these tokens. And now you might be wondering, why would I want a bunch of tokens in one pool? Well, let's say you want to provide liquidity, right? Like, providing liquidity has its uses in itself. That if you want to be able to buy something that you value, you want there to be liquidity for you to do it. So in cases where you're not really trying to buy or sell or anything yourself, you might want to give somebody else the opportunity. In exchange, you want to earn some of those fees, right? That's why people do it. So with these pools, what you can do is, if you have a bunch of tokens that you value, you can put them all in a pool. And if, let's say, one token appreciates more than the other, like, let me try to find a good example of like one token appreciating more than the other. Then if in a case where you cared about both of those tokens, you would care less about which one appreciates more, because you value both of them. But in a situation where you value one more than the other, then you incur impermanent loss if the token that you value more doesn't appreciate versus the other token. So that's why you have these pools. So in an example here, like, let's say if you like Fame and you like PLSX or PLS, here's a pool for you. So if you deposited 80% Fame and you deposited 20% wrapped PLS, and you didn't really care which one appreciated, because if actually one appreciates, it's also going to pull the other one up with it as well too, a little bit. So but if at the end of the day, you like both of those tokens, you'd be happy with either one. So it kind of mitigates some of the impermanent loss that you might experience. Now that's just 2 tokens, but let's say you had more, right? What's a pool that I kind of like? Oh, like, this is a really cool one, right? So you got Fame, Fiat, Hex, and PLS. I like all these tokens, right? And because I like all these tokens, I wouldn't mind providing liquidity for this pool, because no matter which one appreciates, I get something. I get more of the thing that's losing to the one that's winning, right? But overall, I'm still up. Now, if the price goes down, I lose across the board as well. But that's what you get. That's what you get. So you make those decisions for yourself. But then you can also be a part of the Bridge stable pool. This has the wrapped versions of USDT, USDC, and DAI. So there's a lot you can do with this, man. It's really exciting, lots of opportunity. And then, once you're in a pool, you can come over here, you can look at your portfolio. There's a boost gauge that you'll get. And, if you can maximize it up to 2.5x. And when you do that, I mean, I can explain to you how that boost works. It's fairly simple to understand. You might have to do some simple math, but, anybody can subtract and add things together and figure out some numbers. So no big deal there. And then as you earn the fees, you can come over to this claim tab, and here you're gonna be able to see how much you're earning in real time, and you can hit claim whenever you want. So, man, and then add that all into Pulse Chain, which is very affordable to transact on. I mean, dude, the opportunity here is fantastic. So I hope you guys found some value in this. I know I covered a lot of ground. It was a lot longer than I hope for the future videos to be, but I want to get this on the board. And then I'll start to dive into some more of the details as we go on. But hope you found this valuable. If you liked it, share it with other people, but really encourage someone else to do what I'm trying to do that's better at doing what I'm doing. Because one, I don't really have the time commitment to be able to do this, but I don't see anyone else doing it. So I think this needs to be addressed. And that's why I'm trying to do it. But once somebody else is ready to take the reins, I will gladly put my support behind you and stop streaming myself. If somebody wants to, wants to have that position in the next bull run, now is the time to set yourself up with that. And I think the PH ecosystem and the RH ecosystem, Pulse Chain, Hex, Fame, Fiat, and PHUX, all these tokens and protocols are providing great value. So please really consider doing this and give me a break from doing it, because I don't think I do the best job, but somebody has to do it, right? So, all right, yeah, that's enough talking. Thanks, guys.